Bickley and Marotta mornings. Arizona sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
The Cardinals' defense isn't just disappointing and expensive. They have been historically bad in November. They've allowed 40 or more points in consecutive games for the first time in 23 years, and the last time that happened was in 2002 with a team that lost 9 of its past 10 games, including a 47-0 loss to the Chiefs. Now, for those who've been around a while, you know that was near the end of the dark ages in Arizona Cardinals football, a dreadful place we thought we'd never revisit in our lifetimes, and now here we are all over again. Now, this isn't all on the defense. Last week, the Cardinals were undone by penalties and their horrible special teams. But for a team that spent $100 million on the defense and drafted 6 of 7 players from that side of the football, they have been underwhelming to say the least. They ranked 21st in yards allowed per game, 25th in points allowed per game, 28th in sacks. Since week 3, they never seem to get to the quarterback or get off the field when necessary, and they are not the wrecking ball force we hoped for or the war machine opponents feared, and that might be the most disappointing thing in a season full of disappointments. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW. Make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
Everything that's on that field is my responsibility. So offense, defense, and special teams. So I don't take that lightly. And obviously there's a lot of layers into everyone doing their job, but it ultimately is my responsibility.
That is Jonathan Gannon talking and taking the ultimate responsibility, as you heard there. Yesterday, in speaking with the media ahead of the Cardinals game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, you hit on something interesting that I had been thinking about, but I haven't looked further into. It seems like for about the past, well, and I'm not pinning this on Kyler Murray, but starting in 2019, November football has not been kind to the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
And even with Kyler on the shelf, with a different looking offense and a different coach, really, the last 3 years, that remains the constant. Once November hits on the calendar, this team just ceases to win football games.
Well, that is that. That's very funny that you should mention that. That what we have been conditioned to the last couple of years was the offense and the quarterback kind of falling apart post-November, not the defense. Mm-hmm. And that has been the case the last couple of weeks. And again, I don't think people point at the defense and say, man, you guys were really bad last week. I think a lot of people look at the penalties and what that did to the offense and all that kind of stuff.
The first play with the special teams, they got down to the 2-yard line.
Their
right
special
after that.
teams have been a disaster. So I think when you look at those, that more than anything is adding probably to the staggering points allowed the last couple of weeks. But great defenses overcome all of that stuff. That's the point of having a great defense. Mm-hmm. Is so when you have one of those unfortunate turnovers, when you have, what do they call that when you turn the ball over and your defense has to run back up?
Sudden change.
That's it. Sudden change. The sudden change situations. Great defenses shine in those situations because it's their chance to sort of rescue everybody. This defense has not lived up to that. No. They have not generated the pressure we had hoped for. And they haven't stopped the run that they should, the way they should.
Yeah. I'll clarify something. Jonathan Gannon's first year, 2023, the Cardinals went 1-3 in November. Last year, the trouble really started late November, early December. They won their first 2 games in November last year against the Bears and the Jets, then the bye week. Then they came back and lost to Seattle. And this year so far, you know what November has brought the Cardinals this year, a win against Dallas and then 2 blowout losses against division foes. So November hasn't been kind. You mentioned the special teams being a disaster. That was talked about yesterday with Jonathan Gannon. when he was asked how he feels the special teams has played this year.
We've made some plays. We've given up some plays, kind of like the whole team. I would say we've just been a tad inconsistent, but I like some things that we're doing. I think Jeff and Sam are doing a good job. We've had a lot of moving parts there, You'd like to have some consistency, but it's not how the years went, So got guys in and out of the lineup playing different spots, things like that, new rules, So I think everybody in the league's still adapting to that. We just got to make sure we set up the plan the right way with the people that we have, with who we're playing, make sure we put them in good spots.
When you talk about coaching criticism, and I think that was a rather tempered response to the way the special teams, what your eyeballs tell you the special teams have done, what the numbers do. But most of the coaching criticism is going to fall on the head coach. Warranted. Comes with the territory.
Right.
Drew Petzing has had a lot of arrows shot at him this year. Maybe a lot of them warranted. Defensive coordinator Nick Rawlis, I think the noise is getting a little bit louder in the criticism with him. But Jeff Rodgers, for him to be the coordinator of a special teams unit that has underachieved the way that has this year, and let's face facts, he is on his third different head coach with the Arizona Cardinals.
That's amazing when you think about it.
As the coordinator of the special teams.
When you go through the staff, I talk about the relative inexperience of the staff in terms of doing the jobs they were hired to do in Arizona. It's like 10 zeros, and then you get to Jeff Rodgers, and it's 14.
Yeah.
So he's got all the experience, and yet that's not translating. Yeah, so this has been a grind, and I think it's a hard lesson to absorb in the NFL, that just because you think you're on a growth curve based on 2 years of moral victories in competitive football doesn't mean you're popping in year 3. Going over that bridge to being competitive and actually winning consistently, that's a long bridge to get over.
A lot of times, though, it goes like a small gradual step up. You get to a point like last year, 8 and 9. And then you kind of hover around 8 and 9, 9 and 8, 7 and 10. You don't often take a big step back like they did this year. That's a little odd.
Oh, it's very odd. Here was Jonathan Gannon also updating the injury situation heading into the Week 12 game against the Jags.
Trey Benson's window will open. He'll be on a practice field today. Amari will be out, and Marv will be out. Everybody else will see how it goes. They're in meetings right now. We'll be back on the grass today. Look forward to a good week.
Yeah, of all the things that he mentioned, and it's not a surprise on DeMercado or Harrison, but opening up that practice window on Trey Benson, we'll see how quickly he can get back on the field.
Wolves seem to think it shouldn't be an issue for a guy like him who knows the offense, who knows the system. If physically he can play, that he should be able to get out there this weekend. Now, I don't know about endurance. I don't know about stamina. I don't know about any of that. I don't know if you do need a week's buildup after how long. How long has he been gone?
He's missed 4 games.
4 games. Okay.
All right. Has it been long? Well, I know the windows, the minimum you can miss is 4 games. But let's face it. You fall behind 35-0. You don't really have that much opportunity to run the football. It's a perfect way to ease him back.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, I'm so snarky.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.